I'd have to say the best story I've ever worked on would be going out to Afghanistan. It was just such a range of emotions, from being, a laugh a minute to, bawling my eyes out. But it was just the most incredible experience.
We spent 6 months really trying to get under the skin of what was going on in the sex industry in Yorkshire, and we managed to speak to a girl that had worked on the streets for the last 20 years. We spent the day in a brothel. Which was such an eye-opener. Spent the day with one of the girls that had worked there for 12 years, with the guy that owned a brothel. We were out with the vice trade. We had our reporter Grace out to Sweden to compare what it was like there, because Sweden were the first country to change the law on prostitution. So she spent a few days there really trying to find out what was different there and what could be applied to Yorkshire. So I think that's probably been the biggest standout story for me.
I think one of our biggest news stories over the past few years has to be the Rhys Jones murder trial. When the shooting of the 11-year-old happened in Croxteth, we had reporters straight out there that night covering the story before any of our rivals could, getting some fantastic content and some exclusive eyewitness content as well.
Probably the Ryder Cup in 2010 when it came to Wales, the third biggest sporting event in the world coming to Wales. I may never cover a Ryder Cup again, so it was an incredible experience to see the world's media there from all over the world, and just to see all the attention it was getting. It was on our doorstep. It was fascinating to cover, and gave me a real buzz. It's stories like that made me want to become a journalist.
I think probably the biggest news story that I've worked on was the Harold Shipman case. I was there. I was one of the journalists on the case right in the very beginning, as the police were digging up bodies and they started the investigation into this GP from Hyde in Greater Manchester. And I was really fortunate to be able to follow that through, cover the trial where he was convicted of more than 200 murders. That was a big case to work on, and quite an emotional case to work on as well.
Other big stories that we've worked on, I remember the Lockerbie bombing when I was a little girl, and now this last couple of years it's been a real high profile story for Scotland, with the Lockerbie bomber getting out. So we were there when that happened. The controversy surrounding it. He had 3 months to live, and here we are 18 months later, he's still alive. So it's still making a top story for us.
Just to hear the stories of the people who were there, witnessed it, helped and saw Lockerbie rising from the ashes and just developing a real sense of strength and purpose as a place was really wonderful.
That's the kind of story that our network's interested in as well, so it's great that in GMG we can tap into our other locations and get those stories across to the UK network.